Hello y'all, this is Space. Welcome to my channel. And today will be a static fire of ship 28. Now, a rundown of the events. Now, first of all, you will get prop loading on ship 28, which you'll see a small ring there or rise up to the lock until the lock section is fully filled. Then methane tank will get partially filled. Then after that, we'll have a stack fire. Which is this. That's from ship 24. That's what you should expect for today. Let's listen in on NSF stream.
Looks like you went away again, or is it just me?
That's better now, I guess.
I don't know what keeps happening then.
You're better now.
Good old technology. Anyway, the question from Sam was, how many tests do we think that Ship 28 will have before it's stacked? Which I was adding on to that, though, is that more a question of testing with Ship 28 itself, or is that more of the question of the testing that still needs to remain on Booster 10? Adrian, what do you think? How many more tests before we see it stacked?
I'm not going to say one.
Ads these
I think,
days.
like, based on how they perform these tests, like, this might be the one last and only static fire of 28. And once that has happened, they might be done. They close out the vehicle, they get everything ready, and they stack it on. I mean, if you call the wet dress rehearsal a ship 28 test too, but like an individual test, I think this might be the last individual test of ship 28.
Yeah, and then the real question becomes how many more tests need to be done on Booster 10 before they fully stack and integrate everything together as well, because I'm sure they'll do spin primes, they'll do static fire, hopefully all 33 engines, and then if all goes well, likely see the full stack. But that's just my prediction at that point. We do have a lot of support coming in as well. And I do want to thank some of the people who are doing these super chats and memberships, including the Welsh Padre. Hello to all. May you have a great Christmas. Thank you very much. There's a lot of messages about CGAM getting, I guess, supporting CGAM stuff, supporting our community. CGAM is best. CGAM out of all CGAMs. I must have missed something in chat while that was going on. Casper, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. There it goes. We've got Keith saying thank you for all what you do. Merry Christmas. Same to you. We've got Kevin Mikhail Red, I think is how you pronounce it.
Never heard of that guy. Never heard of that guy.
Saying, best ship, you know which one it is. No, I don't know which one it is. If you mean ship 28, then at the moment, yes, I would agree with you on that. Not any other ship.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm glad Kevin agrees that ship 28 is the best ship.
Yes.
And that's why he trusts our taste. That's why he says, you know which one it is, because, yeah, of course we know.
Alright, live Vinny.
There you go. And then, this is the name jack, so please don't yell at me, but Hoppy coming in with the $5 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com, saying ship 26 will be the first star ship to successfully complete an orbit around the Earth. I think you mistyped the 6 with an 8, because ship 26 should never see the light of day beyond the occasional background view from our cameras. But that's just me.
Yeah, 26 going nowhere. Sorry, guys.
So, we have, talking about controversy, you've got the name Hoppy, you've got Ship 26, and now we have The Nozzle gifting a Red Team membership as well. Which nozzle?
It's going wild here. The nozzle. Sorry.
Hey, Jeffro, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Sean Plays Too Much, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Brian Green saying 6.9k people watching. Nice. There should be 6.9k likes. Also nice, and also agreed. It is free. Here's a question from Rankley who asks, where do you think the second launch tower would go? More towers, or better? I know it's more a speculation question, but as we see everything going on there for Ship 28, where do you think we might see a second tower?
Adrian, you go first.
No, I'm actually throwing this directly to you.
Boy. Well, my answer to this very usual question, by the way, a lot of people are wondering about that. I'm also wondering about that. So, yay, we're in the same club. I don't really know, to be honest, where it could be. All plans had it south of the launch site, but we haven't seen any expansion to the south yet. And so far, they have already brought the upper two sections of that tower. They have a third on a barge. I think it is still it's still at Florida, but soon to be heading to Starbase. There's another 6 at Ruben's Road waiting to be moved to Starbase. So it could be that there's another theory going around there, and I'm not saying that it is correct or it is less correct. I'm just saying that it could be another possibility that once Ship 28 completes its static fire test and it's all test campaign and everything, they don't need the suborbital tank farm anymore. They don't need the suborbital sites because they're probably going to do all of this stuff at Massey's. So all of that location, all of that land area, they could just use it for that second launch tower. Now, do I think that's going to be the case? I have no idea. That's my answer. So, where do you think? I don't know. I'm really sorry, but it's like, I just, there's so many possibilities. I wouldn't be able to decide.
I'm glad that Alex
really
for once feels. I'm glad that Alex for once feels the feelings of all of us, where he doesn't know. But we usually ask Alex. That's the problem here. Like when we don't know something about Starship, we ask Alex. Who does Alex ask?
Look, once we start seeing like definitive signs of them either moving to the south or just completely removing the suborbital side and being, we're gonna build here the second launch tower, then alright, I'll say this is where it's gonna be built. But right now I have no idea. That's why I'm saying I have no idea. But there's definitely a lot of theories going out there that could mean that. Like, it could be on some of these locations. Definitely here. I'm not seeing a second launch tower because there's some other even wilder theories saying it's gonna be at Massey's or something like that. I'm not on board with that. Just for the record, it's not gonna be at Massey's. That's what I think, at least.
And my thoughts here is the fact that they've already stopped using suborbital pad A. They've got obviously Ship 28 now at pad B. You've got the tanks that are going to be going over to Massey so that they can start doing testing there. I wonder if, and again, this is all theoretical guessing right now, speculating, I wonder if they would, as you were kind of hinting at, get rid of these suborbital launch pads there and convert that into a full-on second launch pad, or is that potentially too close to other launch tower?
And you know what? Then it will make sense, the Gateway to Mars sign. Because then you have two launch pads. Because it's right there at the suborbital pad. And I at least, because removing the part about actually going to Mars out of the Starbase, it's like, alright, Gateway to Mars, but you put the sign on the suborbital pads, right?
Coming up on proploading?
Like, doesn't it make sense to do it a little farther up the road at the overall launch site? But if you put a second launch tower there, then it starts making sense, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of goes along the lines of the thought process there. And I didn't even think about that myself, but just looking even from that camera view that's on screen right now, you can kind of picture it.
Yeah. And as for the distance, the previously the plan that they had before with the launch tower, the second launch tower on the south side of the current launch tower, I think it was around 150 meters away or something like that. It was not that far away. Like it's less than a quarter mile away for those that use Imperial units. It's really close.
Appreciate the conversion to Freedom units. I mean, Imperial units. All right. You can still hear me, right?
Yes.
All right, good. Mark asking a question here, saying when they start flying from the Cape, since we were just talking about Gateway to Mars and all of that, will they transport Starship via boat or modified aircraft like the Dreamlifter, or does the world get a new Guppy? Adrian? Alex, what do you think?
Adrian's not here. So, yeah, that is interesting. When they start flying from the Cape, will it transport? Yeah. So we think that they're going to be using barges at least for the first few flights out of the Cape, where they move the vehicles from Starbase all the way to the Cape until they actually have an actual star factory running there at the Cape. Right now, the former Star Factory building at the Cape at Roberts Road, it is currently being used for Falcon 9 Starlink payload integration, basically. Maybe used for other things in the future. Just saying. But yeah, they do plan a north expansion of Roberts Road. If you watch our latest Cape flyover, excuse me. Our latest Cape flyover and even the one before that and a few other ones that we did in 2022, we mentioned that SpaceX is planning a north expansion at Roberts Road. So this expansion is like massive. So it's about the same size of the whole at Starbase. So it's even more. But definitely a lot of expansion there that they could do. And the first flights, we think that they're going to be barging those vehicles down there at the Cape. And speaking of expansion, there's a thing that I'm seeing expanding, which is a frost ring on Ship 28.
Oh, there you go. We are getting frosty slowly but surely here, leading up to what we expect will be static fire of Ship 28. Yes, sooner than later at this point now.
Alright. Amazing! Woo!
Let's see, I do want to acknowledge a little more support here. We have Anonymous say goosebumps to go for liftoff, getting an item from shop.nasaspaceflight.com, getting a gorgeous Falcon Heavy metal print. Ryan, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. The Nozzle clarifying that it is not Dubby, aka the correct answer. Definitely not Ryan saying let's go to space, which hopefully sooner than later we will see, because that kind of goes along with the question here from Benjamin, who asked the likelihood, in our opinions, that we will see a booster static fire before New Year's, and so how likely is it that the third flight test will be in February? Alex, what are your predictions on that?
I think that they have a chance at flying in February. The sort of timeline that I've run through multiple times in my brain is that they're going to be doing all of these pre-launch static fires and engine testing and things like that between December and January, and perhaps wrap all of that by the middle of January, and then, or at least at the latest by the middle of January, and then from there on, all the regulatory stuff, going through the mishap investigation, closing out all of the potential changes that they need to do with Ship 28 and Booster 10, because maybe either they have already all of those changes, or maybe they still need to be implemented. We don't really know, because we don't know yet what happened with the second flight of a Starship so far. So all of these things are probably going to be happening towards the middle end of January and then into February. Again, I think they have a chance at flying around February time frame. a technical readiness probably by next month, and then a regulatory side of things by February. We'll see.
Yeah, and that is another thing that has to be considered is the whole, unfortunately, the regulatory side, as there's still a mishap investigation currently underway into Flight 2 since the automated flight termination system did activate. Hopefully this one will go a lot quicker than between Flight 1 and Flight 2, but in terms of testing, I mean, they're going pretty good rate-wise, but I think it's safe to say that we will hopefully see the static fire by January, see the vehicle fully stacked by the end of the month or so, and hopefully a launch in February, maybe for my birthday even. So we shall see, which is the 18th if anyone's wondering, in February. Simon B also saying, thoughts on Massey's being the location for a test catch launch tower? Would it need a tank farm? Would it be away from the main site far enough? I think that might be a little on the riskier side, but do they even have the space there, Alex?
I will say it's not even just the space, it's also the location. I don't think that's a suitable location to do that kind of testing at all.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, the road will have to be closed way further back than, because people think that Massey is like, I don't know, what, 4 kilometers or something, but I think it's around 6 miles away from the pad or something like that. It's very far away. It's not really like, even the normal roadblock is closer to the launch site than that during launch time. So, you know, that's a lot of road that you need to close if you want to do that kind of testing. 'Cause I bet no one will say, oh yeah, keep the road open and just close off Massey's for catching mega giant cylinder steel or something, right? I really don't see that happening. I don't think we're gonna see any sort of tower launch catch test, whatever, out from there. I just see a pad for ship testing.
Alright.
That might be doable, that may be within the limits, but that's the most that I can see. I don't even see some kind of booster test stand or something like that. There will be a lot of thrust coming out of there.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that will remain for ship testing mainly, that the booster testing will happen either where it is now or even potentially, seeing that second launch tower when it goes up being used maybe as the main catch tower there. So that is something that we will have to keep an eye on.
Oh, it looks like Sawyer is a bit off there.
How about
Now it
now?
works. You're back.
There we go. Just a little behind-the-scenes shuffle going on here, so apologies for that little glitch there. I guess my computer wants to glitch, so let's just hope Ship 28 does.
Yeah, I don't know. Some connection from my side. I should be back. So what did I miss in the last 4 minutes?
Well,
If it's getting frosty.
yeah,
Okay,
we're up all
That's
day
cool.
to get frosty.
I like that.
Let's see what else we have here. Russell Stockhouse coming in with an extremely generous $100 super chat, saying, if it was fuel slosh that caused the rud
Ooh.
of
You see that side
what
vent?
can they do to
That
deal
scared
with the
me.
fuel slosh?
I mean, there's different ways to solve this. The one I think that you initially have in mind is like you prevent with a new kind of tank structure to prevent that. Of course, that's not the way they're doing it right now because they have not modified any like changes on the main tanks. What you can also do is change the profile of your booster during the flip and the burn. So you basically fly a profile that has a less high chance to have this issue, right? So that's a possible issue, a solution. I think that these are like the main two ones that you could perform, like either solve it with a direct hardware solution or just change the profile. Alex, do you have anything more how they can solve it?
I have so many thoughts about the Flight 2. I'm supposedly writing a video about that too. Anyway, I actually had a long rant about this yesterday, where what I'm thinking here is that there were probably a lot of things at play. Maybe it's not just fuel slush. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so simple to me that, oh yeah, it was just fuel slush. Because, yeah, why not? But we've seen so many failures in the past of vehicles with fuel slush, and then the engines just go right and everything. Like, I don't know. I think there might have been some other things going on there as well. Because the whole flip and everything is very complicated maneuver and things like that. But what I'm getting to this is that there are many ways to solve the fuel slush, and it all comes down to what kind of fuel slush, right? How did that look like? How was that slush? Was it that it went too far up, or that it just, sloshed around on the tank, back and forth? Or like, what kind of a slush we're talking about? There are different methods for that. That's why there are different kind of slush baffles. There are radial slush baffles and also circular slush baffles on the tanks. The radial ones are the ones that go from the bottom of the dome out towards the edges of the dome, and then you have the circular ones which are around of the tank. We have seen those from internal views of the tank and everything. We have seen those as well when the ships crash landed during the hot era. We also were able to see inside of the tanks thanks to that crash. And so we know that these vehicles incorporate those kind of slush baffles, but what kind of other sloshing mechanisms there could be, right? You could imagine when you have the thrust from the engines on ship 25 firing on the tunnel booster, you have an additional slosh component there where it's just that everything goes up instead of going to the sides or going instead of being side to side or being swirling around, it just goes up into the tank, right? Because the whole vehicle just gets pushed back. So how do you solve that? That's a whole complicated mess. Just to simplify the whole answer, it's a complicated mess. If that's the problem that they encounter with Booster 9, they will really need to look through all the data, which is probably why we don't know yet. We don't have any sort of official announcement from the SpaceX of whatever happened with the second flight of Starship.
Yeah, it's a lot. And fuel sloshing is not anything that's new, but when you're talking about this massive scale, things can be quite interesting.
Also, what is kind of new here is for example, the need of a boost backburn, right? Because while a lot of rockets have some sort of sloshing, only Falcon 9 so far is like performing a boost back maneuver once it has performed its main burn. So like, there's Starship is still like only the second vehicle to perform certain maneuvers, which makes it a bit weird, I guess, and like you learn something new.
I see the leftmost heading vent on the nose cone of the ship. Venting. I see some light venting at least from the left side of the nose cone.
So we have some header tank action.
Yeah.
Yes, I see it as well.
There it is, yeah. And then, of course, we have the frost line starting to build there towards the bottom as well. Things are looking good. Good.
Yes. Everything looking amazing. And Alex, you probably already, while I had some connections, just talked about the timeline, right?
Yeah.
We haven't really gone super in depth into it, but I think now would be a good time to kind of.
We're expecting the liquid oxygen tank to get really frosty. I think with the spin prime that we saw on Saturday, was it? I don't even remember now. It was December 16th. I remember that because I had to put that on next space flights. But and so I think it took about an hour from frost until the test, and we saw frost around 12:15, so maybe 1:15 for the test. Perhaps.
Yeah, like, so we might just be less than 45 minutes away
Yeah.
from here.
See.
So I will quickly jump into the live stream from that and compare it. And we'll see.
Exactly. And again, now things will start to hopefully be picking up. We'll see that frost line start to grow a lot more. As you mentioned, we're seeing some movement from the header tank. This is getting exciting. Another step closer to testing for Flight
Are
3.
you serious?
And I also do want to acknowledge Methane Man coming in with the generous tip at tips.masterspaceport.com saying put this towards camera maintenance or whatever else is needed, which thank you. We really appreciate that. And then NSF saying just a small Merry Christmas to the best channel anywhere around NSF, which thank you very much for the generous support. And then Mr. One Wolf gifting 10 Red Team memberships.
So from Frostline appearing to T0 on Saturday, Alex, it was 1 hour and 13 minutes. The Frostline
Alright.
appeared at 10:47 Central, and Spin Prime was basically, well, basically noon. Was like 20 seconds before noon if I see this correctly.
So if we had the frost line appear around, I thought it was 12:15, but it's actually 12:20.
Yeah.
So 1:30
Like-
then, right?
Yeah, like
Yes.
1:30 is probably, like 1:30 is probably around the area we are talking about here.
All right, we'll see.
But there's still the whole build up to it, so don't just
Oh, yeah.
turn away and come back. Hang with us here.
Because one of the things that
Absolutely.
we're looking forward now is the. I'm actually starting to see the engine chill lines being frosty. I think they are. Oh no, those are the new ones. I think.
Ooh, what new ones?
Oh well, the new ones. I don't know what they're for. They're new. And so let me backtrack. The engines need to be chilled out and everything, right? So they have two lines coming out from the engine section that basically allow them to be able to expel all of the residuals from the engine chill. It's not all of the residuals, more like the gas exhaustion cooling down the engine side of the Raptors on the ship. So they have these two lines coming out of the engine section. And that was for ship 24 and ship 25, but with ship 25, they added another two lines that we never saw in action with ship 25. But now I'm seeing kinda, sorta, some frost on that new line on ship 28, which is completely new. I didn't see that at all for ship 25. It was there, but I didn't see it in action, so it looks like it's kind of working.
And also, do I see this correctly, or like, do we have the poke stack or like the vent stack going again? Like right on the left, it looks like there's something like.
Might be doing some kind of regular venting. It doesn't seem like it's venting heavily.
But we saw the same behavior during the spin prime. Like it was that's going again. So
Yeah.
that's the same behavior we saw on the spin prime, and that all round started like that started between 50 and 55 minutes before T0 on the spin prime. So that would also mean we are looking at like 130. I'm having our spin prime stream now open, and I synced it based on that view, and I'm now basically trying to sync both views.
And there's your answer on that stack. Get the vent going on there.
Is that one?
Count I got up there is estimated T0.
There's like
Side.
yeah, but it's going and kind of interesting. Like, because usually that has to be, like, in the past that has been Alex on my scrub indicator, which of course is not now,
No,
because it's no
that's-
longer it's no longer a scrub indicator,
Yeah.
but it was one at some point.
Yeah, so many different indicator changes and things as they concurrent. Heck, is the grass vent, I know we mentioned it earlier, does that even have a purpose at this point still?
It's going and it's still confusing.
There you go.
That's the answer. We'll never have a stack.
Yeah, that's the event stack, as we call it. 'Cause it was the former flare stack, and now it is the event stack.
Yep.
Here's a question from Paul. It's very interesting. Now that we've seen the deluge plate work, is there any indication of building a new deluge plate? Adrian, I don't think we've seen anything for that yet. And then the real
Not
question,
Yeah, not that we've seen. Sorry, go through your question.
the real question I think will also be, do you think that's something they will implement once they start launching from Cape?
Yes. Like, if it works, yes. If it, like, continues to work, that's, I think, the way to go. I don't see why they would change. Like, I don't see anything that would make them completely change their approach versus the Cape, versus programmers. So, yes, if this is a system that proves to be working, and it's not like there are, like, 50 different off-the-shelf solutions to properly deluge your super heavy. So it's probably they are in the process to find solution to this, right? This is still a very complicated problem because we are talking about the biggest and most powerful rocket of all time. So making sure that you find a solution that works and then is scalable is probably their approach here. And once they have one, I do not think they will try to reinvent the wheel and just do the same.
Yeah, 'cause-
So, well, I was going to say that they could be building it right now, and we don't know, because they have the tent at the Sanchez site, where they built the first one. But it is also true that we at least saw the parts arrive. I remember some pictures from Jack in February of this year, where there were like name tags for parts saying flame diverter, and we were like, yeah, sure, a flame diverter. Haha, you're funny, SpaceX. And then, you know.
Yeah. And here we are today. It's also interesting keeping in mind right now that the tower that they do currently have there does not have the deluge plate. The tower has also seen zero action in about a year at this point too. So just we're kind of putting that in there as well, that everything that was built that is currently there at Pad 39A was all built before IFT-1 ever happened.
Yeah, that's like I would say. The problem is always with the pace that how fast that Starship moves and SpaceX moves. That we have the situation that, well, the Cape hardware is from the knowledge of pre-2 flights, kinda.
Yeah.
So that's practically ancient in terms of SpaceX hardware. I think I'm looking forward to the day when they really start to do heavy Cape action again. But for the moment, it seems like they're kind of waiting and just looking at Boca. And once they have like a solution here that they can copy paste, then I think they will modify it based on their knowledge. But so far, the Cape seems mostly inactive.
Definitely,
Yeah,
there's. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's good to point out that when it comes to the deluge plate and things like that, construction over at the Cape, it is worth noting and remembering that it is on top of a wildlife reserve. So it's kind of marshy, swampy soil. It's not the best. Bad things that came through into the ground below, which is not allowed in a national reserve. So it's going to be interesting to see how they would have to configure that to work at KSC versus somewhere like Texas, where it's tends to be a lot drier and digging holes is a little bit easier.
That's true.
Well, you still have the issue here of
Views.
it being next to the water as well, which normally tends to be wet either way. Like you dig a hole and gather water very, very quickly. But another thing that I was gonna say is that we could see an upgrade not on the itself. For example, we see on the current design of the OLM here at Starbase, where the outer portions of so they have the plate right in the middle, then they have another pieces of plates, in between the legs, and then outside of the OLM, of the legs of the OLM, they have basically a power of fondant there, and that could break and could fracture for every launch. So you will need to resurface every single launch. It seems like that could be upgraded with just putting more plates there, for example, right? And making it simpler that way. You will also need some kind of way to put, like SPMTs when you roll the dance floor underneath of the OLM. You probably need, but that's probably way easier than having to resurface everything every now and then. But again, there's probably multiple ways of upgrading the water systems. You could also think maybe of water being sprayed on top of the OLM to avoid the whole top of the OLM being scorched for every single launch, right? That could be also another thing.
That is true. And again, I don't think we're going to as we get some more gorgeous venting sounds coming in the background.
Yeah, welcome to the Starship radio station here with soothing venting sounds in the background.
And my annoying voice on top of it.
Your voice is not annoying, Sawyer.
It depends. Depends on who you ask in the comments and on X.
There's always a comment. That's the one rule about the internet.
Well, that's when you know you're doing something right, when people disagree.
True.
Anyway.
Unless everybody disagrees, then you'd probably just do something wrong.
I could go so many different ways with this. So let me thank Angry American, the super chat here, saying, that's why when I have money, I do like the challenge, like milestones for gifted membership. Likes are just as important as the money. Hit the like to poke the algorithm monster. Appreciate it, and I kind of like that the algorithm monster.
I kind of wanted to put that into an AIR and let it come up with how does an algorithm monster look like?
Oh yes, AI art, but you can also learn about it from real. Oh, no, this isn't a sponsored one.
Nope.
Thank you, Joseph, for getting a couple items over and shopped at spaceflight.com with the mock diamonds. Nice. We have SB Nirams gifting a Red Team membership, Coco Cats gifting a Red Team membership, Wolf gifting 5 Red Team memberships. We have, this is an interesting question that I've seen a couple of people bringing up. Cameron's asking, launch from Starbase and catch at the Cape? Question mark. Adrian, do you think that's possible?
Launch from Starbase and catch at the Cape. So the first question I want to ask is which stage? Because I feel like that's a very relevant question. Because Starship, the upper stage, I don't see an issue. That could work. You probably need to circle a bit around the Earth more and wait a bit longer for the good trajectory to be there. However, for the booster, probably no, because from Boca Chica to Florida, there's two problems. First, the downrange is quite far. We are talking about 1,600 kilometers downrange. That's quite that would be a very spicy re-entry for booster, and also that re-entry would be performed over Orlando, which also might be an issue. So I don't think the booster will be the ship. I could see the ship. I could totally see the ship coming to land when launched from Boca. That sounds possible to me.
Yeah, that would make sense. The whole trying not to fly. But I think a way to test it in the future, kind of like how you have the RTLS versus the drone ship landings for Falcon 9 out of the Cape. I guess maybe it's that kind of similar thing of RTLS back at Boca, or the downrange instead of drone ship would just be the Cape. I guess it's possible, but that would be probably further down the line.
Yep.
Let's take some more questions here.
So I wanna bring this, like, you could have like a West Florida like Tampa platform, like do a fast
Jeez.
booster transfer, and like then build like a system to bring super. How would you bring super heavy through Florida?
I mean,
that might be a problem.
I they barge. You'd have to go all the way around, but
rapidly approaching the point where the answer is just build it there. We're getting close.
If that vent is an indicator, huh?
Yeah, like there's an indicator here for it, for sure. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Funny thing-
Interrupted by booster there, but that's what we want.
The funny thing about all of these sounds is like it kind of sounds like, you know, KSP, the sound of thrusters. Kind of sounds like that.
You mean the RCS thrusters?
Yeah, like the RCS
Kinda does.
thrusters.
I can hear that. I get it. Here's an interesting question. I'll put this one to you, Alex. Mark is asking, right before launch, they test the TVC on the booster. Do they do this also for the ship?
I think they do. They probably do. Just why not? It's, again, more data, more better, I guess. They do it for Falcon 9, yeah. Like, even Falcon 9, they do that with the impact engine. They do little tests in the last few minutes of the count. So, probably, yeah. Why not? We don't, like, I haven't seen it. So I can tell you, yes, they do. But, sure, they probably do.
That is also true, that we can't really see it very well the way it's positioned, even on the test stand here, and especially not when it's fully stacked. So it's not as easy to see, but you always check out TVC, which for those who don't know, that is thrust vector control, basically the steering of the engines. Yeah, the gimbal. And at this point now, we are all completely electric with this still, or is there still some hydraulics for Booster 10, Ship 28?
The vent was the response.
HPUs are done.
Yep.
Yeah, right? Thankfully.
I was like, there was a point before Flight 1 where I was getting very tired of waking up and seeing an HPU open. Like, again.
That was nice to not have to see that on Booster 9. Ship 25 did have HPUs, but now both vehicles, the booster and the ship, will have electric TVC, which is nice.
That is indeed nice. Let's see what other questions we have here. There's been a lot of debate, I know there was some the other night, and it's still going on now, people asking about the potential for a dedicated catch tower. Adrian, do you think that's nothing?
Start with a very simple no. I don't think they will do a single purpose tower, because why would you? You can just build a dual purpose tower. I know Alex has some very strong opinions about this topic and has in the past.
I'm not the only one though.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of people that have some strong opinions here about this, but yeah, I think the overall consensus between a lot of people is no, we do not expect dedicated catch towers. It's probably just gonna be more towers. If you build a tower, why not build it for launching as well?
Yeah, because the other day I actually saw a tweet from SAG, CSI Starbase, that did say that he also thinks that there's not going to be a dedicated catch tower. I also think the same. I think his sort of thinking was different than mine, but we still agree anyways. And I still agree that his reasoning is also true, that that it's probably gonna be that way. The thing is, my thinking is that we're not gonna see that soon. A catch attempt. I think people are expecting a catch attempt. Woo!
We get it. We're watching it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Wow, that was super loud. Yeah. Anyway, that picture is practical. Don't expect a catch that soon. And also, first of all, the tower is gonna be the same height. It's not gonna be extended. It's not elongated or anything like it. It's the same height. We haven't seen anything, any new parts or anything like really. Because we also got that question very often, and I try to emphasize that there's no reason why the tower needs to be taller, because even though the ship may get stretched, we don't even know if it's actually gonna get stretched, right? Like it could do a lot of other things for version 2. The key point is that, the point is that the quick disconnect is on the same location, and the only thing that you will need to change is the location of the ship lifting points on the structure of the vehicle. So if you do that, you don't need to change the whole tower. The whole tower can still be the same, with the same systems, everything, just the same location, more or less. So a dedicated catch tower will not be needed that soon. I just don't think they're going to be trying catch that soon, to be honest. And then also the fact that if you build a launch tower, like a fully kitted launch tower with its own OLM and everything, you will already have a backup. Because one of the arguments is that, well, with a dedicated catch tower, you don't damage the launch tower. It's like, all right, but if you have 2 launch towers, if one gets right? And right now they actually need a lot of launches to support HLS testing and things like that, being able to phase out version 1 of a Starship and bring in version 2. If you want to see
20 minutes.
Starlinks being launched soon, you probably want a second launch tower. And even more recently, Kathy Leaders said that because they're wanting more cadence out of the Starbase to support HLS. Like she herself, SpaceX official, said that like they're building a launch tower. So it's not a dedicated catch tower. I guess I should have started with that because that's a more compelling argument. But I wanted to bring my own arguments. Because why not?
No, that's fair enough. I know chat has a field day with that, so I figured I had to ask it to stir the pot just a little bit. So we've got a bunch of people that are kind of just joining in now. Adrian, can you kind of give us a recap of where we are with the
Absolutely. We are in the fueling of Ship 28, which is the currently designated prototype to fly on the 3rd fully integrated flight test of Starship. This test is most likely based on an overpressure notice we have posted from Mary, a resident in Boca Chica. It's gonna be a static fire test, and we are basically in fueling and countdown. You can see a deluxe tank of Ship 28 already being frosty. There where the really clear white frost is, that's where all the locks inside of the tank. We don't expect the methane tank to be really frosty because usually they fill the methane tank only as much as they need to, and they won't need that much for a static fire test. Based on what we expect and what we have seen in previous test campaigns, it's very likely that this will be a 6-engine static fire test, but we will see that. And as of now, compared to the spin prime test, which was performed on Saturday, we are bare 30-ish minutes away from a potential T0.
And that is all assuming everything continues to go as planned. That could be a little bit earlier, it could be a little bit later. So right now all eyes are on Ship 28 as we continue to answer your questions in the meantime, which you can
Switch to the Google Fi Wireless Flexible plan and only pay for the data you use. You get 4 lines.
And while we have a moment, I do want to acknowledge Ethereal Swordsman saying, If this was methane, it'd be igniting in the flare stack, correct? Right?
Correct,
You
but there's no
concur.
sadly there's no flare stack anymore.
Yeah.
The X concur.
Is that? Do we see some engine chill vent again?
I'm trying to look for that, but I haven't seen yet the engine chill.
Oh, maybe I'm. No, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I was looking at the spin prime footage. Go on.
Okay, well, if you're looking at it, tell me when it happened so that we can track when it could be happening from now.
33 minutes before T0. There you go.
Well,
Wow.
if we haven't seen it, then
Yeah, we might be
probably
more
not
than 30.
1:30.
Yeah, it might be more than 33 minutes away. So
Oh,
sorry,
right.
I was having both streams open and it's the same ship. So I was like, huh, there's the engine chill vent, and now I'm looking at it. Nope, it's not. So the engine chill vent is basically how they dispose gases that are used to chill these engines, and that code, the pipe on the right is that right? That we see right now
on the
here.
leg there.
Yes.
I think it's the leg number 2. Yeah, leg number 2.
There we
You
go.
can see those numbers at the bottom.
Yes.
So leg
So
number 2 is the chill pipe on the ship. And then there's another one on the other side as well.
There we go. And that has not started yet, so we are probably a bit more than 30 minutes away from T0 here. However, again, the countdown sequence is a bit of, it's a bit fluid, so we will have to wait and see how this develops. It started at exactly 30 minutes before T0, 33 minutes before T0 on the spin prime.
And again, they may have made improvements since the spin prime. Things may be going a touch slower since then, since that was the first real cryogenic test of the vehicle, basically, at the suborbital pad. So, all subjects to change, which is why we continue to watch. Temperature memberships, I just want to thank them really quickly here. And then you were going to say, Adrian?
No, I just want to make the remark that we have the easy job here because we just have to watch and see. There are like some very dedicated SpaceX people right now who have to perform their job here and test this ship, and we're just in a waiting seat here, which not that bad.
Texas Tank Watchers. Loud Shirt Dude coming in with a question saying, any hint of a pressurized cockpit for Dear Moon? I know we're talking a little bit down the line still at this point. Any idea on that, Alex?
Yeah, that's way down the line. If we're talking that about HLS not being until a few years from now, Dear Moon, launching crew from the ground off, all the way to run the moon. That's a lot more work. I think we're probably gonna see first HLS hardware and then crew hardware, like Starship crew hardware.
And I mean, realistically, like Dear Moon is probably not before like 2028, 2029, 2030 at this point. Like, that's the probably realistic answer here. It's not gonna be like next year or the year after. That's not a reason point about the timeline for the.
Right, I think in terms of crew flight, the priority is going to be HLS, the Human Landing Services, of getting people on the moon as part of the Artemis program. Which, along those lines, Flawed Perspective asking, do you think HLS landing automation will be tested like Hoppy from the suborbital? Adrian, what do you think?
I don't think so. I think, well, NASA will very, very closely be tied into this process. So I don't think the HLS hardware will perform any flight test, like the actual lander. Like there might be another lander that performs like the demo flight before that, but I do not like the lander itself will probably be very isolated before before testing. I don't think there will be like a hop test or anything performed with HLS hardware. So I do not think so. However, it's gonna be cool to see the demo mission, right? Because that demo mission is probably gonna be exciting. Landing something on the moon is always exciting. And there we have the engine shells. So I'm running the clock here. We are talking about
40?
140.
All right, 140. We will probably see some kind of hold in the other one, or maybe if we see it later, then it's a hold on today's test.
Yeah, it's like based on the spin prime evidence we have, which is a very, very low amount of evidence. I want to point out here, we are thinking around 140 for this test.
There we go, and that's based off the clock. Those wondering in the top left of the screen for the time at Starbase, which is Central Standard Time. Here is a question from Spaceman Nick. They're saying, why don't we see a lot of solid ice falling off the booster and ship when they launch, like we sometimes do with other cryogenic fueled rockets? I mean, we absolutely see that with Falcon 9. You see the ice falling away. We do kind of have that. It's just, is it visible here, Alex?
I do see the frost, like the ice. What do you mean?
I guess it looks
12
less
minutes and 30
visible
seconds away from this
from that perspective than it
Yeah.
does for something like Falcon 9.
I think it also comes down to the fact that a lot of cameras and
Let's do
everything are
this.
trimmed to bring in the full picture of Starship, and that makes ice look small suddenly. Like, it's all coming down to perspective. But there's ice rain going down Starship when it launches. It's
Yeah,
full
and I
of
don't
ice,
see-
and a lot of ice is falling down when it launches.
And I still don't see a lot of ice still coming off from Falcon 9 though. Like, I see ice coming off, but it's not like it just comes down in chunks of ice or anything like it. It just comes in little pieces, like very fine pieces of ice coming off from Falcon 9. The biggest chunk that I may have seen on Falcon 9 is probably from I think it's like one of the ports on the interstage, and you can see it on the coast face. There's like this very specific circular kind of looking piece of frost, right? Not a lot the booster is coming apart. No, it's just frost from one of the ports on, I think it is on the interstage, and it just forms.
Alright, I'll be taking commentary at the last 10 minutes. From Starship. As they're waiting, stack fire. Listen up for the deluge plate. If it's loud, then it's going to be probably a lot of engines. We're waiting for stack fire or deluge plate. There are any signs of the readiness of the stack. Now, if you have an engine shield, that will be a stack fire because you're shielding the engines. Tonight, we will have an ignition source for today's stack fire. Like the spin prime. Now I started before the prop loading, but on the spin prime I started right at prop loading. From now on, I'll be starting right before prop loading, and then you can get a good view of prop loading, commentary from me and stuff. But currently we are go for launch, or not go for launch. I mean, we're go for stack fire. Go for those Raptor vacuum. Raptor vacuum. So you can see what the Raptors they ignite. Now you might see a sound. It shows sound indicator. A go. Prop loading finishing. We should be wrapping up prop loading. That fitting never gets old. get ready for another burst of sound. This T0 might not be correct, but if we do get the right T0, just from NSF I was watching, so we should be about 8 minutes. When I hear the deluge play, I will turn off these things so you can enjoy. Only if I can. We're at T-minus 8 minutes, counting, until ship 28 stack fires. This will be one of the last stack fires. It does. It will be like the first and last. Ship 26. We'll do a 1 engine stack fire for the deorbit burn test, and it rolled. This will be the last. This will either be a 6 engine stack fire or something else. But I expect them to do a 4. Now, if you can hear me over the loud venting, like I said, it never gets old to hear that venting. Good old venting. We're 7 minutes away. If you can see where go, top loading is finished. Sound, you can see the T0 and sound okay. So we'll be able to see the sound before the T0. Now, it sounds like the engines are getting ready to ignite. Any minute now, to any second. Now if this T0 ain't correct, I will drop it and you will just get a clear view of it. But if that my T0 is right, then you will get to see the time before ignition. They have to test these vehicles to see if they're go for their launch. We're a couple minutes away from the stack fire. It's getting real. Trying to get everything ready. About 15 seconds before ignition, or 20. Now, if you can't hear, if you don't see it, look at, or can't hear it, then look at the bottom of it. Look at the bottom of the subliminal pad B. If you can't see it, or if you can't hear it, I forgot what I was saying. If you can't hear it, look at the subliminal pad. If you can't see it, listen for the sound. And the sound just got cut off. That's a bummer. Like I said, if you can't see it, or if you can't hear it, then look at the bottom of it, you'll see water being sprayed. They're T-minus 4 minutes away from the stack fire. you still hear some venting. We're about T-minus 3 minutes away from the stack fire. Two minutes. Exactly under 2 minutes until this stack fire. We're coming up under 2 minutes or 1 minute. We're going into terminal count. Looking good. T-minus 45 minutes and 40 seconds until stack fire. We are go for stack fire. Now look out for the deluge plate. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're taking it away. Alright. Alright, we're in the hold. Waiting to start climb. Still awaiting sign of readiness of the stack fire. Dang, I have 5 minutes. That's crazy. But the milestone I haven't reached yet, but thanks to you keeping me watching. We're in a hold right now, waiting for ship 28 to do something. We're waiting for the day flight to start. Any other venting sign or anything else indicating that we're ready. Prop loading is finished. It's a vehicle. We're just waiting day to take the sign. I'm going to leave it at the pad, and if the stack fire happens, then we're going to take the camera. Waiting to see the good. If you do see detention, I will send it. Because I'm not gonna face detention. Because it's just a sad moment. No one knows because we like screwing up. So if you do get a detention moment, they did help us get. But everything seemed to be going well. We did have engine shit, like a couple of... There it is! Oh my gosh! There it goes, that was a surprise. Woo! Yeah! Ship 28. Oh my gosh, that scared me. Mock diamond. Ooh. That scared me. Yo, that was my surprise. I didn't see the fire suppression system. I'm ashamed of myself. Woo!
Switch to the Google Fi Wireless Flexible plan and only pay for the data you use. You get 4.
Amazing. Let's get a recap of that. Explain. I wonder how TPS tiles will be. I need to know how they're doing because this is a cool. Amazing. Looks like we have a deep press one. Woo! I got deep press sprint stop. You're gonna start the hit now. That did look like a 3 Raptors. Wow. That was crazy. That's what I call freaking burning fuel on Starship. That's more crazier. Like I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just speechless. Anyways, 1 month after the flight test, we already have a ignition from another Starship. I'll stay here for 1 more minute. See if anything more interesting happens. Let's don't recap on Shearer number 4. Always, stay. Alright, guess that will end it for my episode. of serial number 28 static fire. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.